Greetings, dear ones. This is Sunday, March 6th, and being Sunday, March 6th, we have a lot going on in the world, and it's also a very powerful day astrologically, as well as this theme this week seems to have been coming more to the foreground, and which is why today's meditation talk, musings, whatever you want to call them, and a deep dive. Hopefully you'll be able to really feel some of the magical energetics that I'll be transmitting. And hopefully those of us who are joining live will also be contributing their particular magic to the mix as well. Any of you who have been listening to any of these daily meditations talks know that the focus is around Ukraine. However, it is a reflection or an outpicturing or a replication of that which we feel and experience and are being invited to transform, transmute, or even metamorphosize on an individual basis, and through that individual basis for the species as a whole. So although it looks like a very difficult time, and there's a lot of apparent darkness around, and many people are citing the president of Russia. I'm just going to turn a little bit because we have a sunshine challenge, which is a beautiful challenge to have. But they're, bad-mouthing him and calling him evil, etc., etc. But when you look at the situation from a wider camera angle, you may be able to see and feel into all of the openings and possibilities and potentials for truly dramatic change in a very short period of time. So there is a larger plan going on. There is a larger design here. There is a much more, dare I say it, inclusive plan here, because we all get to choose. We all are voting in this current process by our thoughts, by our actions, but mostly by our ability to identify the what is being triggered in us, giving us the opportunity to transform and transmute those pieces, thereby actually causing or creating the evolutionary leap that is potentially here. It cannot happen, and it will not happen without the people. And by the people, whether it's through activism, there's many protests going on around the world. And that's wonderful because it gets people excited and activated and standing up for their own rights and their own beliefs and their own choices, which is hopefully what may occur in Russia and many other countries where there are dictatorships, tyrannies, autocrats, authoritarian governments. And again, this isn't a question of good or bad. It isn't a question of light and dark as much as the choice that we all have the ability to make. We can continue along with all the thousands and thousands of years of exploration of the previous structuring of duality in this on this planet, or we can do something different, which is up level all of the human species so that we are not functioning at those very, very low frequency, destructive, existentially threatening aspects. So we have an opportunity here to actually bring forward not only the, let's call it the highest and the best in each of us, but also to allow for the deeper levels of us, or the multi-existential levels of us, as I refer to it as. Some people use the term multidimensional, but multidimensional only includes the dimensions. And there are many other existences, realities beyond just the dimensions, which, some say are 12. I've experienced at least 8 or 9, so that I'm consciously aware of, and then hopped into the 11th on occasion. But there are many worlds and realms and kingdoms as well on this planet, in alternate realities. In other words, there are interfaces with this planet. So those of you who happened to hear yesterday's midday meditation, you know that I was speaking about the land and how our bodies are affected by the land and the animals and the critters and insects and everything that goes to making that soil alive, and the habitats around it and the environments created by that, which then affects the weather, etc., etc., etc. Everything is interlinked. Everything is interdependent. And when something happens to land, or when land is unhealthy, so are we, because we are intricately interdependent with the earth, with the elements, with the cycles and rhythms of the earth. And when you destroy land, you also destroy sacred connections, sacred openings or portals to other worlds and realms and kingdoms. All the fantasy stories that we enjoy, either in literature or movies, etc., there is nothing to there's no reason to believe that they too do not exist. So today we're focusing on the magic of Ukraine. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I'd like to share that as we go along this week, because I think it's very, very powerful. Let me back up a bit. So as I was saying, our bodies, our system, our energy fields are intertwined, interlinked, interconnected, interdependent with the earth. The aspects of nature and the rhythms and cycles of the seasons and the animals and the migrations, etc., etc. Those, every single culture throughout time on this planet has had and utilized, recognized, utilized, acknowledged, even written about, certainly spoken about what is considered magical. And by magical, my definition is things that can occur extremely rapidly and in a way that humans may not have imagined. Miracles are things that we know and seem impossible but happen anyway. Magic is something occurring in such a way that it resolves everything, and that's the wrong word to use. It changes everything, not only lightning fast, but in a way that incorporates and includes all factors. And so in the upcoming 3-month program that I'm going to be teaching, we are absolutely going to be looking at magic, not in the way that you might expect, but in the way that each person holds, or how certain people hold particular forms of magic. So backing up to each culture having a recognition and acknowledgement and use of magic, every region also has, it's a different flavor, it's a different way, it's a different type. Basics, yes, it is in cooperation and collaboration with nature, with the cycles of the earth, the seasons of the earth, but and the acknowledgement certainly of the elements. Each one, though, has a slightly different flavor. That doesn't mean simply different deities or different practices, but that the magic itself has a different flavor, and it has a different flavor because it is so interwoven with the land. So when we're talking about Ukraine and the destruction, the potential scorched earth practice that I mentioned yesterday of just laying waste to everything, which cripples the people and takes control of everything through the dependency that is caused by completely destroying crops, land, etc. There are many cultures throughout history that utilized that method of destroying a culture, its beliefs, its traditions, and yes, most often than not, purposefully, it's magic. We've seen that with many different conquerors, many different times throughout history, different countries around the world. Very purposeful religious control maintained as well, in an attempt to eradicate the magic of countries and the deep spiritual beliefs and connections, most often through the earth. So we are going to put that in the mix today. We have quite a few essential oils that are stepping forward to help us today. One of them being the single oil of Melissa. This is Young Living oils are the only ones that I will use and or recommend, and have done so for 22 years. Another that is very prevalent in the magic of the world, certainly the plant kingdom, is she came forward a little while ago. It always seems to me a very feminine oil, a very kind of magical fairy-like oil. This one is so old you can barely read it, but it is Elemi, E-L-E-M-I. And if you smell it and really feel, these are oils to feel. These are plants that you can literally communicate with and connect to. And Elemi has this very nature spirit, light, sweet smell. Melissa is and both of them are very powerful healing oils as well. And the Young Living Company makes a couple different oils. a couple different lavenders, and today the one that stands out is more the lavender that has a kind of fairy-like quality, and that is St. Marie's lavender. And again, if anyone wants more information or to experience an individual read, I am very happy to do so. Please contact me. And as I was doing a little bit of research today, we also had, I was able to look into some of the herbs and plants that were used in the Slavic countries, Ukraine, several others, including Russia. But one of the oils that is, or one of the herbs that are very prominent is angelica. And I do not have the single angelica here with me today, but it is in a beautiful oil blend called white angelica, which is very protective and that I recommend for all healers, holistic practitioners, massage therapists to run through your field as a type of filter. Another strong herb in the Slavic tradition is arnica. Those of you who are familiar with arnica know that it is a wonderful salve or gel for pain, muscular pain. Also sweet basil. And one of the trees that are very much under attack in many places around the world by diseases, by fire, is the birch tree. And in Slavic tradition, the white birch is a very powerfully significant tree. According to that tradition, the world tree is a white birch tree. And birch, maybe you know or don't, is contains salicylic acid, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the basis of Tylenol. So for pain relief. So I'm going to invite you to bring in and forward any connection you feel you have to magical kingdoms. You may see, let me lean this way, in the background, that tree behind me was made by someone in Pennsylvania who actually lives in a community of magic folk, of fairy folk, or also known as wee folk, W-E-E. And this week it was very, very powerful that one of my clients, who is actually, she's a form of nature spirit. In other words, this is the energy that she runs. And the reason why this is important to everyone is because those particular energetics can be, or most often are, directly related to your essence, your core essence, the essence of you that has been part of your soul's journey and that throughout time, and that you have brought here to express through this human form. So, for example, this person that I am speaking of, as she transforms and transmutes the apparent human issues, it's allowing for her own intuitive abilities to come online. It's allowing for her to express that which she felt and experienced as a child, her love of nature and beauty in small things and small little environments where there is an interchange between water and plants and mushrooms and so forth. And she's now beginning to bring her artistry forward and is imagining or creating the possibility of expressing this in and through teachings for children, because we all have what are referred to as imaginary friends and connections when we're little. Those connections are damped down or volume turned way, way down, if not off, or disconnect from them. And it's part of the transmutation process that I do with clients that brings those abilities and connections forward once again. So We all have some forms of connections. Many of you have magical connections. I was working with a new friend of mine. Well, she's a colleague, and was working with her in an energetic session, and came forward her connection to the Wee folk of the German culture. Again, Slavic in nature, or Slavic in origin. And that was just this week. And it turns out that she actually grew up in Germany, although is not a German national. She's American. So we plan and beautifully design our lives before we get here to give us these wonderful opportunities and remembrances and kind of time controlled pieces of us that awaken or are triggered or are provoked or catalyzed to come forward. And it's entwined with our challenges or issues. Speak more of that in the Precourse, which is a kind of an intro evening on the 11th of the upcoming 3-month course. So I'll probably be doing that on the 11th, 12th, and the 14th, because the group will be starting on the 17th. Just so happens, but that is St. Patrick's Day. Again, a very magical culture. So if you'd like to really just feel into your body right now and allow yourself to sit very firmly on your chair or couch or floor so that your body can do what it's meant to do, which is hold you and hold you up in such a way that you can let go of the need to kind of consciously sit, and thereby being able to sink down and inside of you to your inner world. And that's where you may actually feel or experience your own magic. So if you're aware of your magical connections, I invite you to bring them forward. If you suspect or have always been attracted by a particular form of magic or magical realms or worlds through certain literature, please allow that to be here, and just suspend the tightened hold on this dimension that has a tendency to negate or deny anything that is that could be interpreted as magic, and deem it unrealistic or only of the imagination, which it most certainly is not. So we are doing this in support of Ukraine and the magic that land holds, the sacred lands that are there, that are portals or doorways into magical realms or kingdoms or worlds, and the strong ties between the people and their land and their form of magic that has been there for thousands and thousands of years. And nothing you need do except perhaps notice when you want to go up to your mind or visioning or your third eye. I encourage you to allow your body and your energy field and your wider self to kind of lead you down and in to where you might actually feel or sensate or have an experience of magic within you. So just notice your body. Feel gratitude for that body and all that it has allowed you, all that it has taught you, all that it gifts you every single day, every single moment. And allowing yourself to feel in and through your body allows you to feel in and through the land beneath you. And it doesn't matter if you are in a high-rise building or out on the land right now. You are always able to sink in and link in with land, and thereby creating a sense of deep safety and security in and through your body in this particular 3D plane of existence. And even though, as I mentioned yesterday, the angst and the disconnect of the people to their land is being felt by all of us, the more you willingly, allowingly, no, it's not a word, and asking from a deep place within you to allow yourself to connect deeply into the earth through your body, you can drop down ever so deeply and thereby rejuvenating and bringing in the life force in and through the earth and the land, plants and the trees, the moss, the mushrooms, because those fabulous interplay of plants, animals, insects, microbes, chemical constituents within the soil, and the energetics underneath and deep within. The land, the strata of the soil. Brings beneficial energetics forward for your body, for your energy field, for your emotional body as well. And into this container of a beautiful sacred geometric configuration, unique to today, unique to this moment, unique to those who are participating live or who are listening at a later point. And calling in and calling forth the elements of earth, air, fire, and water. And the elemental beings that oversee and regulate those elements, from the smallest little ecosystem to regions overseen by divas, and the particular magic folk who tend to and protect and guard sacred portals in the land, and in our interface with our bodies, the land, sacred locations on the planet. Perhaps you connect through your culture, perhaps through the region where you live, perhaps through another location on the planet that you have visited, in another country. And therefore, at this time, I am calling in and calling upon the directions. The direction of the East for illumination to us and our old ways that no longer feel appropriate or right for our species. In the West, with Brother Bear for introspection, allowing each of us to explore and find the ways in which we are disconnected from ourselves, our bodies, our internal world, our magic, in the South was Sister Porcupine and Otter, reminding us of the playfulness of children and the innocence and wide-eyed wonder, all of which play deeply into the magical. Children still feel and know what magic is. And in the North with Lady White Buffalo, for patience, that all is in process. Everything is in exactly right order for this evolutionary process to occur. And for wisdom, the blending of pure love and knowledge, in the direction of above, our cosmic family, today, which we find ourselves in and guided by Aquarius, the fluidity of water and its position in relation to Pisces brings forward magic. Today, the 6th of March. And in the direction of below, for all the many hidden kingdoms and realms within the earth, that we are inviting here and now all the directions to assist us, to guide us to a deeper place where our own personal forms of creating and creation, be it through magic or so many others. Yours is so very unique to you, so very particular to your accumulated soul experiences, and purposefully brought with you to this life at this time, informing showing you, reminding you who you truly are, the magnificence of you, the power of you, the purposefulness of what you came here to do. And I'm calling in and calling upon the ancient magic within the land of Ukraine and the surrounding region, mountains, the sacred forests, we have not forgotten you. We call upon you to teach us once again of our intricate and intimate connections, communication, with and through our own bodies, to the land upon which we live in this moment, and the many lands we have explored and experienced and incorporated within our energy field through many lifetimes. Through many forms. Allow yourself to feel what is being transmitted. I am transmitting what is here in this container, what is being reflected from, through you. Again, no matter when you listen to this, your soul, your people, the universe are very aware of, your choices. Allow yourself to not merely see or imagine. Let that go and allow yourself to actually sensate, feel, experience within you the movement, the experience of energy moving through you, flowing in a unique way to you. It may create heat within you. You may feel tingling. You may just feel movement. You may just feel your inner body. Organs, tissues, glands. Or perhaps you just might experience yourself shape-shifting a bit into a sacred forest or meadow or waterway, stream, creek, river, waterfall. Do not try to see or imagine or visualize, for it is quite another thing to actually experience in your body, in your energy field. Really inviting, very sincerely, very powerfully, not only those sacred places, sacred forests, waterways, mountains, meadows of Ukraine, the deities and beings within the Slavic tradition of magic. When and as we are deeply connected in and through and to ourselves, in and through and to the land, in and through and to these many existences and realities, the potential to evolve this planet radically and quickly into a new way where the death and destruction of war and all its machinery is utterly obsolete. Where the fear for one's existence is of the past. Where the divisiveness and harm caused by differences is converted into the celebration of differences as that which makes us stronger, create more. Or the safety and cleanliness of the elements, earth, land, soil, air, water, and the purity of natural fire. Are healthy and clean and accessible to all. Where the freedom to express who you are is not determined by your race, religion, ethnic origin, or other worldly connections, but instead simply in its uniqueness and beauty and significance and aid, help, guidance to whoever and whatever. Where the rights and freedoms of all beings is assumptive, and all beings not only human, but animal, nature, culture, and even otherworldly. And freedom to express who you are is simply part of the way of our world. Allow yourself to drop even more deeply into the within, so that you may have a profound felt sense, experience of who you are, and who you are meant to be. According to your soul's direction, according to your soul's design, according to your soul's plan. the more deeply you are able to connect and communicate and collaborate and cooperate and commune with these inner parts of you in your inner world. The more you are creating and anchoring and restructuring this species and thereby this planet. For you are the connector, you are the bridge between the you that is here now and the you that is possible, potential. As a fully expressed soul. In and through human form. Evolving this Project Earth. And again, just feel. You need not do anything. But the more deeply you sensate internally, the more deeply you feel your inner verse. The more physio-energetic your experience, the more you are imprinting imprinting your wishes, your desires, your longings of how this world can be. And allowing yourself another moment or so to really sensate and feel the energetics that are being transmitted into this container of which you are an integral part and player. And the more you listen to this or share it with others to listen to and drop into, the more amplified its reach, the more extensive its reach, not only across the globe, but deep down and through the earth. That imprinting in your physical, in your energetic, in your spiritual bodies, in your emotional body. And again, as always, you're welcome to stay in this space for as long as you choose, and or come back and drop in and re-experience the energetics, infusing your system, and in turn you imprinting this sacred geometric container with your form of being and or your magical and knowing that whenever you do so choose to return to a more 3D physicalized experience, that you always have that opening potential to drop back in, re-experience, remember the truth of who you are, the truth of the land, the truth of energy, the truth of oneness, and the truth of the beauty of diversity. Your systems will be fully integrated, fully interwoven, allowing you to move throughout your day without or rather with more connectedness. And I invite you to please register for the upcoming events on the 11th and the 14th. Two different opportunities to do the pre-course for the upcoming 3-month program where you will learn, get in touch with, utilize your own magical abilities and that of others as well. So until next time, it is with the deepest of honor gratitude and love for your presence here on the planet. Be well.